Rebellion and resistance. The quantum awakening. The Guardians rose like living mountains of impossible geometry, their surfaces shifting between solid matter and quantum probability. XR-427 was transforming, its very planetary structure becoming a massive technological organism that defied conventional understanding. Marcus's tactical training kicked into overdrive. Years of frontier exploration had prepared him for impossible scenarios, but this was beyond anything in human military doctrine. "We need a plan," he said, his voice steady despite the magnitude of their situation. "These aren't just defensive structures. They're a communication network. A galactic-scale system of control." Zara's neural implant pulsed with increasing intensity, decoding fragments of the quantum transmission. "Not control," she corrected. "Protection. They're guardians of something far more significant than a simple defensive mechanism. Technological improvisation." Using salvaged equipment from Marcus's ship and components from Zara's crashed vessel, they began constructing a quantum interference device. It was a desperate gambit, using the Guardians' own communication frequencies against them. Marcus's hands moved with surgical precision, combining human engineering with the advanced alien technology. Each connection was a potential breakthrough or catastrophic failure. In humanity's darkest moments, Marcus explained while working, we learned that survival isn't about overwhelming force. It's about adaptability. About finding solutions where others see only impossible challenges. Zara watched, fascinated. Her collective would have approached this with rigid, predetermined protocols. Marcus treated the entire scenario as a complex, dynamic puzzle. The hidden message. As the interference device took shape, fragments of an ancient transmission began to emerge. Not just a communication, but a warning. A message from a civilization that had existed long before the current galactic powers. "They're protecting something," Zara translated, her crystalline eyes reflecting complex holographic data. "A repository of knowledge. A seed of potential that could either destroy or elevate entire civilizations." The Guardians seemed to respond to their efforts, massive technological tendrils extending, scanning, analyzing. They weren't attacking. They were studying. The turning point. A critical moment approached. The quantum interference device was nearly complete, but activating it could trigger an unpredictable response from the planetary Guardians. "We're talking about potentially releasing information that could reshape entire civilizational paradigms," Zara warned. Marcus's response was quintessentially human. "Some risks are worth taking." The device hummed to life, quantum frequencies dancing between human-engineered circuits and alien technological networks. For a moment, everything went silent. Then, everything changed. The revelation. The Guardians didn't attack. Instead, they began to communicate. Not through conventional language, but through a complex quantum data transfer that simultaneously revealed and concealed its true meaning. A repository of knowledge stretching across millennia. Technological and philosophical insights from civilizations long extinct. A cosmic library that had been waiting for a species capable of understanding its true potential. And humanity, with its remarkable ability to adapt, to reimagine, to transform, had proven itself worthy of receiving this knowledge. Zara looked at Marcus, understanding now why her research about individual potential and societal evolution was so threatening to the Lumina Collective. True progress wasn't about control. It was about the capacity to change, to grow, to embrace the unknown. The Guardians were waiting. The universe held its breath. Their greatest challenge was just beginning, last edited just now. Planetary conspiracy unveiled. The approaching storm. The anomalous signal grew stronger, a rhythmic pulse that seemed to vibrate through the very ground of XR-427. Marcus's advanced scanning equipment worked overtime, filtering through layers of electromagnetic interference and planetary noise. "This isn't random," he muttered, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. "It's a deliberate transmission. Encrypted, but not like any standard communication protocol I've encountered. Zara leaned closer, her alien sensory capabilities complementing Marcus's technological arsenal. The neural implant at the base of her skull began to resonate, picking up subtle quantum frequencies that human technology might have missed. "It's a convergence signal," she translated, her crystalline eyes narrowing. "Not just a communication. It's a summoning. Uncovering the layers." The shelter's protective systems began to shimmer, advanced nanoshields adapting to the increasing electromagnetic pressure. Whatever was approaching was powerful enough to distort local quantum fields. Marcus pulled up a three-dimensional holographic map of the planet, layers of geological and atmospheric data overlapping in complex patterns. Hidden beneath the surface, a network of energy signatures began to emerge, artificial constructions that had remained dormant until now. "These aren't natural formations," Marcus explained, rotating the holographic image. "They're technological. Ancient. But still active." Zara's scientific mind raced. Her research with the Lumina Collective had hinted at ancient civilizations that predated current galactic powers. Civilizations that had developed technologies so advanced they appeared almost mystical to younger species. The cosmic chessboard. "Your crash," Marcus said suddenly, "it wasn't an accident. Was it?" Zara hesitated. The neural implant containing her research felt suddenly heavy, a weight of forbidden knowledge pressing against her consciousness. "The Lumina Collective discovered something," she admitted. "A technological artifact. Something that could fundamentally alter the balance of power in the known galaxy. My research threatened to expose it." The holographic display shifted, revealing complex quantum entanglement patterns that seemed to stretch beyond the boundaries of known space. Ancient networks of communication and control, lying dormant for millennia. The awakening. A massive seismic event ripped through the planet's surface. Kilometers away, the ground split open, revealing structures that defied conventional understanding. Massive technological constructs, half organic, half mechanical, began to rise from beneath XR 427's surface. "They're activating," Zara whispered. "The Guardians." Marcus's cybernetic eye zoomed in, analyzing the emerging structures. They were neither purely technological nor completely biological, a hybrid form of existence that challenged every known principle of engineering and evolution. "Guardians of what?" he asked. Zara's response sent a chill through the shelter. "Of a secret that could destroy or save entire civilizations. The converging paths." The transmission continued, a rhythmic pulse that seemed to connect the emerging structures. Marcus realized they were more than just defensive systems. They were a network. A communication grid that spanned potentially entire sectors of the galaxy. And somehow, Zara's research, her exile, and their unexpected encounter on this hostile planet were all connected to its activation. "We're not just survivors anymore," Marcus said, his voice a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "We're now part of something much larger." The Guardians continued to rise. The planet itself seemed to be transforming, technological tendrils breaking through its rocky surface like metallic roots of an impossible machine. Their survival was no longer just about escaping XR 427. It was about understanding a cosmic mystery that could reshape the understanding of existence itself. The real journey was just beginning. Secrets of survival. The hidden histories. The makeshift shelter Marcus constructed was a testament to human ingenuity. Nestled within a rock formation that provided natural protection from XR 427's brutal environmental conditions, it was both practical and surprisingly comfortable. Advanced nanothermal generators maintained a stable internal temperature, while multispectrum energy shields masked their presence from potential external threats. As night fell across the alien landscape, the twin moons cast an ethereal green-blue glow through the shelter's protective membrane. It was here, in this moment of temporary safety, that their true stories began to unfold. Zara's fingers traced the complex neural implant at the base of her skull, the device containing her forbidden research. Marcus watched her, his cybernetic eye subtly analyzing her movements. The Lumina Collective doesn't tolerate independent thinking, Zara began, her voice a mixture of scientific precision and barely concealed pain. My research challenged everything about our societal structure. The scientists' rebellion. She explained her life's work, a comprehensive study of civilizations that embraced individual potential. The Lumina Collective was a hyper-efficient society where individual thought was systematically suppressed. Every citizen was a node in a massive, controlled network. Creativity was viewed as a threat, individuality as a malfunction. I discovered something revolutionary, Zara continued. Societies with greater individual freedom demonstrated exponentially higher rates of technological and social advancement. My data proved that collective thinking, when too rigid, becomes a form of systemic stagnation. Marcus listened, his cybernetic eye recording every nuance of her explanation. His own story was equally complex. The frontier veteran's past. I wasn't always an explorer, Marcus revealed, pulling out a small holographic device. It projected images of a war-torn Earth, massive environmental disasters, global conflicts, humanity on the brink of self-destruction. 30 years ago, humanity faced extinction. Climate collapse, resource wars, technological breakdown. We were our own worst enemy. His voice carried the weight of historical trauma. But instead of surrendering, we adapted. Every challenge became an opportunity for innovation. The hologram shifted, showing remarkable transformations. Vertical farms rising in devastated urban centers. Breakthrough clean energy technologies. Massive ecosystem restoration projects. Humanity's greatest strength, Marcus explained, is our ability to reimagine ourselves when conventional solutions fail. Intersection of survival. Zara realized something profound. The humans Marcus described were nothing like the sterile reports in her collective's databases. They weren't just survivors, they were transformative agents of change. Your research, Marcus said, pointing to her neural implant, it's more than just academic documentation. It's a blueprint for societal evolution. A sudden seismic tremor shook their shelter. Marcus's reaction was instantaneous, checking structural integrity, recalibrating energy shields, ensuring their protection. Zara observed his methodical approach, recognizing it as something more than mere training. It was an philosophical approach to existence itself. The emerging threat. As the tremors subsided, Marcus's communication systems picked up an anomalous signal. Something was approaching their location. Something that didn't match any known planetary lifeform signatures. We have company, he muttered, already preparing defensive strategies. Zara noticed how seamlessly they were beginning to work together. Her analytical mind, his adaptive survival skills, two different approaches converging into a unified survival strategy. The real challenge was just beginning. And neither of them knew exactly what was coming. Their survival would depend on more than just technology or individual skills. It would require something far more complex, mutual understanding, trust, and a willingness to challenge everything they thought they knew. Survival against impossible odds. The delicate balance of survival. The first moments of consciousness were a symphony of pain for Zara. Her alien physiology, typically resilient, was pushed to its absolute limits by the harsh environment and catastrophic injuries. When her eyes finally focused, they met something entirely unexpected, a human face, carefully monitoring her vital signs. Marcus Reed worked with methodical precision, his hands moving between various medical devices and the makeshift treatment station he had constructed inside his exploration vessel's emergency medical bay. Each movement was calculated, each action purposeful. Your cellular regeneration rate is remarkable, he murmured, more to himself than to Zara. Most biological systems would have collapsed under similar trauma. Zara tried to speak, but only a rasp emerged. Her throat felt like it had been lined with the planet's abrasive dust. Technological improvisation. What struck Zara most was the human's approach to survival. Unlike the rigid, protocol-driven systems of the Lumina Collective, Marcus seemed to view each challenge as a puzzle to be solved through creativity and adaptive thinking. "Your environmental suit was critically damaged," Marcus explained, noticing her attempting to focus. "I've reconstructed key components using materials from my ship's fabrication unit. It's not a perfect match to your original design, but it should provide necessary protection." He held up a partially transparent suit, its surface embedded with a complex network of adaptive nanofibers. Zara recognized the technology as a hybrid solution, parts salvaged from her own suit, parts created from Marcus's ship resources. Unexpected cooperation. "We have approximately 72 hours, Marcus continued, before this planet's environmental conditions become completely unsustainable. Your ship's quantum drive contains critical data I believe you're protecting. And I'm curious why an advanced alien vessel ended up in such a remote, hostile location." It wasn't a question, but an invitation. An invitation to trust, to collaborate. Zara's scientific mind began analyzing. Humans were supposed to be unpredictable, emotional, prone to conflict. Yet this human had rescued her, repaired her equipment, and was now proposing a cooperative strategy for survival. Planetary threats. The ship's external sensors began blaring a warning. Massive seismic activity was building beneath the planet's surface. Geological instability was imminent. "We need to relocate," Marcus announced, already gathering essential survival gear. "The crash site will become a death zone within the next 6 hours." His preparation was a ballet of efficiency. Portable energy shields, multispectrum scanning equipment, emergency medical supplies, each item selected with a purpose, each movement revealing years of survival training. The first real conversation. As they prepared to move, Zara finally found her voice. "Why, help me." The words were difficult, her alien linguistics struggling with human speech patterns. Marcus paused, looking directly at her. The cybernetic eye, a testament to human adaptability, gleamed with an almost philosophical intensity. "Because survival isn't just about individual preservation," he responded. "It's about understanding. About potential. Your presence here suggests a story far more complex than a simple crash landing." Zara realized then that humans were fundamentally different from what her collective had taught her. They didn't see the universe as a series of rigid systems to be controlled, but as a dynamic landscape of opportunity and discovery. Preparing for the unknown. As they prepared to traverse the hostile planetary landscape, an unspoken alliance formed. Two beings from entirely different civilizations, united by the most fundamental imperative, survival. The planet XR-427 seemed to growl around them, its geological heart preparing to unleash destructive forces. But Marcus and Zara were ready. Not with brute force, but with intelligence, adaptability, and an unwavering determination to overcome. Their real journey was just beginning. Unexpected encounter. The Frontier Explorer. Captain Marcus Reed stood at the helm of the Horizon Breaker, a rugged exploration vessel designed for the most challenging planetary missions. Unlike the sleek, pristine ships of corporate exploration teams, his vessel bore the scars of countless dangerous expeditions, each mark a testament to survival against impossible odds. The planet designated as XR-427 was nothing short of a nightmare landscape. Geological surveys had labeled it a death world, toxic atmosphere, unpredictable seismic activity, and predatory ecosystems that defied conventional biological understanding. Most exploration teams would have dismissed it entirely. But Marcus Reed was not most explorers. "Computer, run atmospheric composition analysis again," he commanded, his voice carrying the weathered tone of a man who had seen more than his share of unexplored frontiers. The ship's AI responded immediately. "Atmosphere, 67% nitrogen, 22% methane, 8% trace toxic compounds. Surface temperature fluctuating between -40 and 80 degrees Celsius. Radiation levels above standard safety protocols." Marcus chuckled. Just another Tuesday. A signal in the wasteland. It was the faintest of anomalies that caught his attention, a microscopic energy signature that didn't match the planet's natural electromagnetic patterns. Most captains would have ignored it. But Marcus had built his reputation on following those tiny, almost imperceptible threads of mystery. Prepare external reconnaissance drone, he instructed. Set coordinates to the energy signature's origin point. The drone deployed silently, cutting through the thick, toxic atmosphere. Its advanced sensors began mapping the terrain, searching for the source of the unusual reading. What it found was wreckage. Not natural geological formation, but the unmistakable remnants of a sophisticated spacecraft. First glimpse. The initial scan revealed something unexpected, a life form. Weak, but definitely alive. Marcus leaned forward, his cybernetic eye, a replacement after a particularly brutal mission 5 years ago, zooming in on the details. The life form was not human. Alien physiology, unlike anything in the current xenobiological databases. Well, isn't this interesting, he muttered. His background wasn't typical. A veteran of the Interstellar Frontier Corps, Marcus had seen more alien worlds than most diplomats. He'd learned that first contact wasn't about weapons or immediate threat assessment. It was about understanding. The rescue decision. The rational decision would be to observe from a distance. Collect data. Minimize risk. But Marcus had never been one to follow the most rational path. Prepare emergency medical containment protocol, he commanded. And ready the external environmental suit. The ship's AI's response was predictably clinical. Warning, planetary conditions exceed standard survival parameters. Recommended observation only. Marcus was already suiting up. Some risks are worth taking, he responded, checking the advanced environmental seals on his suit. Each piece of equipment was a marvel of human engineering, adaptable, resilient, designed to keep its wearer alive in conditions that would kill most life forms within minutes. Descent into the unknown. The landing was anything but smooth. Constant methane wind currents and unpredictable electromagnetic interference made precision impossible. But Marcus had landed in worse conditions. As he approached the crash site, the true extent of the destruction became clear. The spacecraft, clearly of advanced alien design, was now little more than a grave of twisted metal and scattered technological remnants. And there, partially buried in debris, was the life form. Alien. Wounded. Barely clinging to existence. Their first encounter was about to change everything. Zara Velarin would soon learn that humans were nothing like the sterile, hierarchical society she had known. And Marcus Reed was about to discover that sometimes, the most extraordinary discoveries come from the most unexpected moments of compassion. Cosmic collision of fates. The distant star system of Proxima Centauri burned with an ethereal intensity, its light casting long shadows across the observation deck of the research vessel Starweaver. Zara Velarin stood motionless, her iridescent skin reflecting the cosmic backdrop, her mind racing with the weight of her impending exile. The outcast. The Synaptic Council's decision had been swift and merciless. Her groundbreaking research challenging the rigid hierarchical structure of the Lumina Collective had been deemed heretical. Years of dedicated scientific work, meticulously documented observations about interspecies cooperation and individual potential, reduced to ash with a single bureaucratic decree. Your theories threaten the very foundation of our societal framework, the lead counselor had proclaimed, his voice cold and unyielding. Individualism is a disease that will fragment our collective consciousness. Zara remembered the moment with crystal clarity. Her elegant research presentation, filled with data from a dozen planetary studies, had been her life's work. The evidence was overwhelming. Societies that embraced individual creativity in diverse thinking were more adaptive, more innovative. But the Lumina Collective valued uniformity above all else. The desperate escape. Now, she was a fugitive. Her research data encrypted in a compact neural drive, hidden within the intricate biotech implant at the base of her skull. The Star Weaver was her last hope, a small research vessel she had commandeered during the chaos of her expulsion. But hope was a fragile thing. Alarms blared suddenly, red emergency lights painting the observation deck in a crimson wash. The ship's quantum navigation system was failing, multiple critical systems going offline in rapid succession. Someone, or something, was hunting her. Tracking signatures detected, the ship's artificial intelligence announced in a monotone voice. Multiple interceptor vessels converging. Probability of capture, 98.7%. Zara's crystalline eyes narrowed. Capture meant more than imprisonment. It meant complete neural recalibration, the systematic erasure of her memories, her research, her very identity. She would not allow that to happen. The uncharted gamble. With surgical precision, Zara began emergency navigation protocols. Her fingers danced across holographic interfaces, rerouting power, preparing for an impossible maneuver. The nearest star system showed only one potentially habitable planet, a world marked as extreme hazard in astronomical databases. Initiate quantum fold jump, she commanded, her voice steady despite the cascading system failures. The universe around her twisted. Space itself seemed to compress, expand, then violently eject the Star Weaver into an unknown trajectory. For a moment, everything went silent. And then, total chaos erupted. The ship tumbled through an atmosphere thick with toxic gases, structural integrity failing with each passing second. Warning systems screamed their digital protests. Zara gripped the navigation console, her bio-augmented reflexes working overtime to soften the inevitable crash. Planetary impact. The ground rushed up to meet her. Jagged rock formations, alien landscapes painted in shades of rust and deep ochre. The Star Weaver disintegrated around her, its advanced technology no match for the planet's brutal surface. When consciousness returned, Zara found herself half buried in smoking debris, her environment suit torn and compromised. Toxic winds whipped across a desolate landscape, carrying hints of sulfur and something far more dangerous. She was alone. Completely and utterly alone. Her research. Her life's work. Her very survival, all balanced on the razor's edge of extinction. Little did Zara know that somewhere on this hostile world, another story was about to unfold. A story of unexpected hope, of human resilience that would challenge everything she believed about individual potential. Her journey was just beginning.